guys? It's another Sunday, and I'm tentatively off. I'm actually on call, so there's a good chance I could be called into work right now. Let's just hope that doesn't happen. And, you know, went to a concert last night, me, my fiance, and my cousin, and had a really good time. Got back last night about 1 o'clock in the morning, passed out, woke up, started cleaning the house, and you know, started cleaning the house a little bit. Fiance went to work, got her all fed, set off to work, and then I cleaned this bad boy up. Cleaned it up, made it gloss, made it shine, changed the strings. See that pickup right there? See those two rails on the bridge? So this is my Telecaster. You know, every guitar collection should have a Telecaster. At least one. But don't go spending like, you know, $1,000, $2,000 on a Telecaster. Because believe me, all a Telecaster is a slab of wood and then a neck bolted onto the back. You know, it's a very crude guitar, a very just piece of wood. There's no contours, there's no beveled edges, there's no comfort zone or anything like that. It's just a piece of wood that's hollowed out right here for the cavity, hollowed out right here, and hollowed out in here. And the back, you know, there's nothing on the back, it's just wood grain. So when you buy one of these guitars, you know, you're not getting like an aerospace piece of technology. You're not getting, you know, even the big bad ones that are $2,000, $2,300. I've had the pleasure of playing at guitar stores around Texas, and they are nice guitars, don't get me wrong, and everyone should have one, don't get me wrong. But at the expense of like $2,000 is absolutely an inappropriate purchase for something like this, because they are limited, but they are flexible. Limited in that you really only get like 5 tones out of it. Flexible in that you can do that, right? So, you know, you can be like John 5 of fucking Rob Zombie, and you can play heavy fucking metal on stage, but you have to have modification to this guitar. So if you don't have the guts or the stomach or the patience or the technical expertise or even the money to upgrade one of these guitars, I don't recommend buying the $1,000 model. Go buy you one of these, a Squier Affinity Telecaster. And if you want to go even cheaper, pick up a used one. See, used right there? I got this for like $100 and something, I think. I think I got it for like $150 off eBay. And there was something wrong with, as you know, most of the guitars that I own, there's something that was either a finish blemish or an electronics issue or a bad tuner or something like that, or a non really working neck. You know, I've had that. This green Ibanez right here, that's actually a USA custom, right? And it has used stamped on the back of it. And that's like a 1990 something USA custom, this green one. And the finish is faded, as you can see right here, it's real dark, but right here it's real light. And up here in the headstock it's even more exaggerated. It's real dark right here on these first 3 strings, but once you get over here to where the Ibanez logo is, it's real light. With all that being said, you know, you buy yourself a used guitar that has a used stamp on the back of it, has something wrong with it, and then with your own technical know-how, you go in there and you make it a gem. You make it beautiful, right? And, you know, that's, you know, I'm not like a room full of fucking $10,000 guitars, but I have a room full of guitars. And plus with my, you know, apprentice electronics understanding and know-how, I'm able to go in there and do things. And so case in point with this guitar, this Affinity, you notice it has gold all over it, right? Well, they don't come like that. They come with silver and silver pickup cover, and they come with a single coil and a single coil, right? And so on this guitar I got a Dragonfire hot rail right there on the bridge, new pots, new switch because this old switch sucks, and then all gold hardware from Dragonfire, including the input jack. Input jack is also gold, and the only thing that isn't golded on this guitar is actually the neck, tail plate, neck plate. Neck plate's still silver. So this is, you know, a one-off of what a really good Telecaster would look like on stage. And to be perfectly honest, if I was on stage right now, you wouldn't know that it's a Squier, and you wouldn't know all the things that I've done to it. And because I have the Dragonfire hot rail in the back, I can play heavy metal with a humbucker sound and still sound good and keep up with the best of them, and then toss it over to the neck position, which is also a Dragonfire Texas special. Have a wonderful, brilliant tone. You know what I mean? So I'll play some more stuff for you, and then we'll go to talking some more. So we're actually on channel 5, saved on my Yamaha THR-10X, which is like a you know, clean, gritty, distorted Fender sound, and then we'll go back to my heavy metal lead sound, and we'll kind of just go through the tones, keep up with me, and pay attention. That's the neck. Isn't it beautiful? Doesn't that neck sound awesome? Here's the bridge. Here's the middle position. Neck. Really in love with the neck position on this guitar, the Dragonfire Texas Blues. So you know, all the electronics, even the bridge. This is a Wilkinson bridge, right? Wilkinson. So Wilkinson bridge. This isn't the same bridge that comes on these Affinity Telecasters. The only thing that's really the same is the neck, the body, and the plate. This plate and this plate. All this shit up here is completely my shit. I left the nut, same nut, so I should probably do that. Had to fucking put some relief on the neck when I got it. And then you can see the actual original screw from the original Tele bridge is right here. and then another screw down there from the original Tele bridge. The Wilkinson doesn't fit exactly on it. You can see a little hole right there, right? Overall, I am so pleased with this guitar, and everyone should have one. And it cost me $100 and something, like $150 or $190. I don't even remember anymore. It's so cheap. I spent more on parts than I did on the guitar. And when I got it out of the box, it sounded good, but it was a little quiet. It was a little thin. But once I got the shit on it, it sounds great. So we'll leave this channel and go to my main lead heavy metal channel. Now we're going to the bridge. That buzzing you heard twice, that's my dryer. I always find myself making these videos and playing my guitar and practicing in between laundry loads because, I tend to do everything else first. So anyways, last night, we went to go see Gigantour. My cousin Joe and my fiancée Liz and I, we traveled up to Lubbock, 10 miles north of us, so we're in Midland, where we live. And we went to the Lone Star Amphitheater and we saw Megadeth, Black Label Society, Device, Death Something, and Jason Newsted's band, right? Jason Newsted's band fucking rules, and they are worth the trip alone. I could have done about Black Label Society. Device was kind of weird. I'll talk about that in a sec. But, Black Label Society is cool, but Zakk Wylde is pretty much predictable. I guess my playing is also predictable, much like him, meaning I relate to him in that I haven't progressed. I'm still kind of stuck doing the same diatonics and pentatonics, using in the key of A in various positions across the fretboard. I really haven't reached like a state of Marty Friedman where he would go from a a minor into a major and then bend right up back into the minor and come back up the minor and sweep all the way. I haven't really gotten that far in my guitar expertise, right? I'm really not that good of a player. But I feel that Zakk Wylde is the same way. It's like you could put Zakk Wylde in a box, and you could also put me in a box, and everyone else who's only read, like, I guess you could say in a book that's like a guitar grimoire, grimoire, we've only read like probably 30 pages in it, and we kind of just stop there. Whereas other players out there like Steve Vai, Satriani, and for the most part Satriani's somewhat predictable, but he's still outside of that box where you haven't really gone far. But with all that being said, I like Zakk Wylde and the Black Label Society. I thought he kind of, at the beginning of his Ozzy days, I thought he really brought Ozzy up to a new level of melodic composure. But towards the end of his Ozzy days, he kind of, like, just like me, stagnated on one specific thing. So the pinched harmonics and the very detuned guitars, it just kind of stayed in one genre, one category, one entire just put a label on it, with Ozzy and Gus G now, I feel that maybe Ozzy and Gus G could probably turn Ozzy around. He seems to have a lot of speed and fire on him, Gus G, and maybe go back towards a Randy Rhoads-esque era, as opposed to like what I call the dark days of fucking Ozzy, where with Zakk Wylde, and I have Black Label Society albums. I used to listen to the shit out of him back in high school. But it was cool seeing him live and his guitars and all that stuff. He doesn't sound live as good, like vocally, as I think he sounds on his CD. It's like totally a different sound. On his CDs, he tends to have a different voice. And man, he really loves that chorus pedal, right? That chorus pedal's like always on. And I think that stereo chorus sound that he has kind of just diffuses his tonal projection, you know what I mean? Like music, speakers, your ears in the face. When you throw like a stereo chorus on there and then divide your signal into two and all this, and when you do all that, you bring down the overall the overall throughput of the sound, and that kind of explains Zakk Wylde and how I was thinking and I wasn't trying to be like a fanboy up there, like hating on Zakk Wylde. It wasn't like that. I mean, I respect where he's gone, where he's been. He's gone a lot further than any of us have, honestly, and he's a great guitarist. And Black Label Society, has been and will continue to be a great band. The bassist rocked a lot. But to be perfectly honest, I could have done without it. It would have been a great show just with Megadeth and Jason Newsted, in my opinion. They had so many bands there, like what, 5 or 6 bands, that it started at 4:30, so we had to leave at 1 o'clock to get there at 3, eat, and then haul ass to the concert, get in the concert. They patted us down, all that stuff. It was kind of unpleasant. Drank a few beers in the parking lot before we got in there to get pre-drunk. Went through the line. Went down, they already had that first band playing Death Device, or I don't know what it was. And we missed them because we were in the beer line getting beered up. But by the time we got into the pit, Jason Newsted had just walked on the stage. They were doing sound check while we were getting beer. But man, Jason Newsted put on a fucking show, so I recommend to all of you guys, if you can find out, go to Jason Newsted's little website or Facebook, wherever the fuck he has. Find his tour dates and go to it. And so Jason Newsted's concert was awesome. They played Whiplash at the end, which was really cool. No one expected Whiplash. He had the crowd going, man. Everybody was happy to see Jason Newsted. And then Hell Yeah came up, right? Hell Yeah was the next band up, I believe it was. Yeah. And then my fiancée, after Jason Newsted, she kind of overheated, and we had to go inside and kind of cool her off. She fainted, which was, kind of nerve-wracking, but we got through that, all of us, me, my cousin, and her. And then we kind of missed Hell Yeah, but once we got her back up to, rested up, we went back out there and saw the rest of Hell Yeah, which was cool. And then Device came up, which is, I guess, the guy from Disturbed's band, which was okay. They didn't have a bass guitarist on the stage, which I thought was weird. There wasn't a bass guitarist out there. Then for one song, this dude from fucking Black Label Society came out there and played one song of bass. It doesn't even sound like he was plugged in, to be honest, man. Like, he was just... You could tell, like, the one guitar guy was up there right here, and the bass guy was down here doing something, and, yeah, I guess he could be doing semitones and pedaling off, whatever he's playing up there. It just didn't sound... It looked like he was just up there to headbang, honestly. Anyway, so I've already talked about all the other bands. And now Megadeth. Megadeth was awesome. You got to go see them. A huge Megadeth fan. Fuck you if you don't like Megadeth. The screens, the images on the screens, tanks, helicopters blowing shit up, people dying, police, hitting people's houses, punching through doors, arresting people, throwing them on the ground. You know what I mean? Megadeth really puts on a show, and Chris Broderick is not Marty Friedman. There's the Kelly. But Chris Broderick can play the shit out of Marty Friedman, and they played a lot of Countdown. They played a few off of Euthanasia, 1 or 2 off the new album. They played like 4 or 5 songs, I think, off of the Rust in Peace album. They played Peace Cells, of course, Hangar 18, of course. They played all that shit. Symphony, Skin of My Teeth. It was a great show, man. We went down to the pit. We were like 3 sets of people back from Chris Broderick and David Mustang and fucking Junior, David, the bassist. We were like right there, man. I could have caught a pick if I was lucky enough. The pit kept breaking out behind us and shit. They played that song Dance in the Rain, Kingmaker, and I think another one off the new Super Collider album. It was a great show, and I recommend anyone who's interested in Megadeth and heavy metal, go see that show, man. Definitely go see that fucking show. Because Chris Broderick really lays down to Marty Friedman with the bends and the sweeps and it was beautiful, man, because, to be honest, the last couple of guitarists Dave had with him sucked at playing Marty Friedman. I'm no Marty Friedman expert, but I love his stuff, right? But I think Chris Broderick is a perfect fit, and new life, new lungs into the group, keep pushing them forward. His stage presence, the way he commanded the crowd, like, hey, this one's for you, that he just started shredding it up, and then come back down, and get the crowd clapping, get the crowd going, Megadeth, that kind of thing. It was really cool, man. It was, my fiance had bought us those tickets, her and I, for my birthday. So my birthday was Wednesday or Thursday, and the concert was Saturday. So that was my birthday present. So props to her for doing that. That's a great girlfriend. And even after having fainted, she kept on, and then we went down into the pit. She was brave, man. Me and my cousin, we took care of her. Props to my cousin for keeping her up with me. And, so back to music. Let's kick the middle out. with that fucking hot rail, playing through the Yamaha THR-10X on Power 2 mode, I think it is. No, it's Brown number 2. Excuse me, I had to get my phone. That's my fiance asking me how she's doing. Sorry. This thing really shreds, and like when I got it originally, and I've played other Telecasters, there was no shredding to be had on those Telecasters, man. You know, a real Fender fucking 50, 60, whatever the fuck you want, you know, with the single coil. You know, some of them have P90s, which I think is really cool. I want to get a guitar with P90s. Like, all my guitars have singles or humbuckers and singles or actives, and I guess you really can't see on this side, but I'll try to show you. You know, there's some more guitars over here. You know, got some Strats with Dragonfires and EMGs and more Dragonfires and the bolt back there, right, man? That Dimebolt. I just there we go, right here. This thing, that Dimebolt. I just cleaned it up a couple days ago, and you know, to be honest, those strings have been on that guitar for so long. Those strings have been on that guitar for probably 7 or 8 years. I had a lot of dust, and she still screams. You know, she has the Bill Lawrence XL500 on the bridge, and then it doesn't have the Duncan 59 in the top. It has a Duncan something else. But I flipped it upside down on it, and you know, maybe I should get that guitar down for you to hear it. But you know, you've seen this beauty. This is one of my favorite guitars because it's cheap, it's inexpensive. I had my personal touch on it. It's a one-off maple fretboard. You know, pretty durable body. I could break this guitar and, you know, walk away from it, take my parts, and be happy, and just buy the same $99, $100 guitar with the Squier Affinity, and I would be just, you know, happy with it, you know. But there's some guitars I have that I would not like to break. But I'll put this up for now, and let me get the bolt down for you. Yeah, I meant to make a video on this bolt. I meant to make a video on this after I cleaned it up, but I was running into problems with the iPad, and so this is a Washburn Dimebolt 333 model. I bought this thing back in like 1995 or 97, and it doesn't say where she's made, but I've had it for a long time. Long time. I played the shit out of this with my old band when we were in high school, me and my cousin with some friends from high school. I played the shit out of this guitar. I mean, like, this was my guitar. I played it at church for years, you know, playing Kumbaya bullshit at church. And so the little story on this guitar is, when I bought it, it had the Washburn bullshit pickups on it, right? And so I got it from a musician's friend, I think it was, you know, back in like 94, 95, probably 97, somewhere around there. And we swapped out the pickups. The guy from Hideaway, Kendall at Hideaway Music in Midland, he got me a Bill Lawrence XL500 in the bridge, and then the Duncan 59 he had for the neck was like a white, not like a cream, like that's a cream white, right? Like a white, you know what I mean? And I was like, nah, fuck it, dude, I wanted it to look cool, man. Which was a mistake on my part. I wanted it to look cooler than it sounded. And so we grabbed a different Duncan neck position pickup, I don't know what it is, and we threw it in there. And I think it's actually a bridge pickup, because then we put it upside down, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, we put it upside down in there. So it's an upside down bridge pickup in that neck position. So we had that original, you know, like a flame cap paint job on these guitars from the Dimebolt 333 Dime Edition, like where it had like flame stripes, and then it had the lightning bolts really faded. They looked really cheesy back then. And so I took this to a guy who owned a motorcycle shop, and he gave me a custom bolt flame job on it, or custom lightning bolt job on it. And you know, to be perfectly honest, I wasn't too happy with it because he didn't do it. You know, I showed him pictures of what I wanted it to look like, all this stuff, and he just didn't do the best job, in my opinion, on the lightning bolts. But over the years, it's grown on me, man. And so, like most of my guitars, this guitar has a lot of uniqueness to it, a lot of unique value to it that some of my other guitars just don't have. You know, some of my other guitars are cookie cutter off the shelf. And you know what? Some of your guitars are too, cookie cutter off the shelf. But me being the daring person that I am, you know, I've actually, every single one of these guitars in this room has something on it that's not stock. And so I've done other things to them, and, you know, this is a perfect example of it. It has had a separate, it's had actually 2 paint jobs. And you can actually see right here, I wish the lighting in here was better, where the paint ends. So he painted just the body and not the neck, which is what I wanted him to do, because I didn't want this. This is car paint, right? This is car paint. Anyway, so let's hear it. We're in that bridge position.